Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Sagers, caught on camera amongst other places, and I'm joined by author David Sloan. And where are we today? Where are we tonight?
Fort East Martello Museum with the most haunted doll in the world. We have the famous Robert right behind us.
You know, I mean, Annabelle gets a lot of credit, but before Annabelle was even in the picture, there was Robert the doll from 1904. Right?
1904, yeah. Wow. Robert was made by the Stife Company. He ended up in Key West, and he's been haunting the island ever since.
And well, tonight, Halloween night, full moon.
Yep.
Blue moon.
Blue moon.
And I don't think a moon like this has been seen since 1944. We are going to be doing, David, I've been saying this is the first ever Ouija board, Robert the Doll experiment, especially on a Halloween, especially on a blue moon. Am I correct? Or?
Yeah, nothing like this has ever been done.
Okay. So we're stoked.
Yeah, we have no idea what to expect. When you're dealing with Robert, I mean, anything can happen because I think we're working with multiple entities with the doll. So we never know what mood we're going to get.
Well, with that in mind, before we dive into the experiment, we already have people lining up in the chat room. Hello, Todd from Hawaii. We got Dale is out there. Okay, a lot of people are showing up. So, okay.
More luck.
Yeah, that. Oh, yeah. And we want to get into this experiment really quickly. But first, I think we have to get a brief history of both Robert and Ouija boards. So first off, David, why don't you just give us a rundown of who Robert is and what the story is?
Well, Robert in the world, he was made by the Stife Company in Germany, and he arrived in Key West in 1904, a gift to Robert Eugene Otto, a 4-year-old boy at the time. And he becomes obsessed with the doll. He gives Robert his name, goes by his name Gene for the rest of his life. And he used to blame the doll for everything. Whenever he got in trouble, he'd say, "I didn't do it, Robert did it." And this went on for years, and the story started building about Robert being the haunted doll in Key West, and people saw him moving around on his own. And then one day he disappeared. And then he reappeared 14 years later at Fort East Martello, and all types of crazy things started happening. Problems with cameras. The animals at the fort started behaving strangely. The people at the fort were experiencing things, and letters started pouring in, begging for a curse to be removed, and people apologizing for disrespecting Robert the doll.
Right, and I've seen a lot of those letters, and there are a lot of people that do believe that there's something going on. And well, hey, just to give you a glimpse of what we've got here, we've got the Robert cam behind us. We also have the Ouija board cam, and we have another Robert camera there that's loading up. And we actually have 3 Ouija boards going tonight, and we're hoping to kind of ask similar questions of all the boards and maybe get similar responses. But before I even get into all that, I need to hear from my Ouija expert, my good friend, Mr. Bob Murch of the Talking Board Historic Society, world's foremost Ouija board historian. Bob, welcome to the Robert Meets Ouija experiment.
Thank you so much, and happy Halloween. This is a really cool thing to be part of. And on a night when the veil between this world and the next is supposed to be at its thinnest, I expect that you're going to have a really interesting experiment.
Well, Bob, why don't you break down just very briefly history of Ouija, which interestingly is, not that much older than Robert the doll, only 14 years, I think. And what are some of the things we should be thinking about tonight during this experiment? Maybe some of the things to keep in mind, the Ouija stations. You know where I'm going with all this. Why don't you lay out for us?
I do. So one of the most important things that you can do when you're using a spirit board or a Ouija board is your intent and keeping things clear. So there's a bunch of questions you shouldn't ask. And that's where these Ouija stations or urban legends around the board came out. We've all heard them before. Don't play alone. Never say, never leave the planchette on the board. Always say goodbye, and never play it in a graveyard. All of these things, right, they get into our psyche and we think about. And when you sit at the board and you ask a question, make sure the questions you ask are positive, right? You don't really want to start something bad, especially on a night like tonight. So don't ask things that are negative. try to ask things that are positive and keep things very light, right? Don't get too dark, because if you do, you might hear things you don't want to hear. And that's when things get scary. Remember, the board is just a telephone. So it's just like you and I right now, we're doing it through video, but imagine we get into a big fight, we call each other all kinds of names and we hang up, and you're not going to throw your laptop out and say, I'll never have another one of these in my house again. But when you use the Ouija board, you start to blame the board. Just like we heard before talking about how they were blaming the doll for these things. When you blame something else other than you, you're giving it power. So be careful with the spirit board, because you don't want to give it power. You want it to just be the telephone where you're asking questions and getting answers back. If you happen to ask a question and it starts to really bother you, remember there's a hang up button right at the bottom. So you just say goodbye, walk away for a minute, come back, try again. So remember, on this night, it's really important, especially on this night, other than other nights, you really pay attention to your intentions and your beliefs as to what you're doing when you're sitting at the board. And remember, have a good time. This is a really cool experiment, and I expect all of you to really have your minds blown.
All right, Bob, thanks so much. And, I was going to say I should kick you out of this, but now I kind of feel like I should keep you around, so that way, if you have any questions that you think we should be asking, we can throw it out there. What do you think about that? You want to hang out for?
I would love to hang out. The problem is I promised my husband that I'm going to watch a scary movie with him. So unfortunately, I can't stay, but I can't wait to hear how this turns out.
All right, Mr. Bob Mertz, thanks so much. And where can people follow you and follow the Talking Board Historic Society?
Well, they can follow us at tbhs.org. We're a registered nonprofit, and you can come find us on all social media. Just look up Talking Board Historical Society. And have a great night, everyone.
Thanks, Bob. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
All right, guys. And so we are at it. We've got the three angles here. Let's take our positions and get ready for an experiment. And we are, one more time, I forget your name. Jessica is documenting the responses that we might be getting on these boards. So let's try to focus on establishing communication. And I'm also going to be recording this and even trying to review later for perhaps some paranormal evidence. Okay. So do we have hands on board? Okay, remember, really light, kind of floating up there, so that way this check can move around. And I'll start by saying we start this conversation with whoever's at Fort East Martello with only the purest intentions, only the desire to have a chat with you, and we're respectful, and we hope you will be as well. So, David, why don't you say, what's the question that you would like to ask? You spent the most time here, so what's a mystery that you would like to get to the bottom of?
Well, I'd like to find out how frequently Eugene is around here. So first we ask if Eugene is with Robert.
Okay, so let's all think about that. Are you with? Okay, we have a J and a goodbye, actually. Someone's getting a clear response.
We're gonna know.
You're getting a no right
We're
now.
gonna know.
Ours is just moving around. Board 3, what do we got?
You moving it?
No. You're getting it now.
You're getting a no? All right.
How about if we see if Robert is an Abbott? If anybody knows the name Abbott around here.
And why don't you tell us what habit is?
People talk about an angry servant being the one who made Robert. And we know that Robert came from Germany by the Steiff Company. But we did find a servant tied to the Otto family, and his name was William Abbott. And William Abbott's wife, Emmeline, lost a child between 1900 and 1910. We believe that the spirit inside of Robert the doll is actually the child of Emmeline Abbott.
All right, before we ask that question, our board is just going a little bit haywire, so we're going to ask, if you're behind us, please stop for a second so we can actually ask the question. Please stop. Okay, we're getting just a lot of circling here.
Almost got a yes to an Abbott.
All right. Well, yeah, sure. Let's ask it. If Robert is an abbot, is that the question?
Yeah. Robert, are you an abbot?
Okay. We are just chaos over here. Board one.
No, we got AM.
You got what?
AM.
AM?
Yep.
AM. Board three, what do you have?
Not really anything. It's like the clean stuff.
Stop.
All right.
Yeah, but we're getting AM, AM, AM.
AM.
Yeah.
Okay. AM and abbot. Well, that's good. Let's follow that path then. So then the question would be, if you are a child or the,
Well, there's different theories because people pick up on a very sad girl at the artist house, which is the former auto home, and she's sitting on the back stairs. So there's some speculation that the abbot child that died could have been a girl. So maybe we should ask, Robert, are you a little boy?
that's up to Robert, are you a little boy? This is Robert, are you a little boy? We're just getting spirals. I'm going to ask the whoever's on our board. Now, let's also keep in mind, we may not all be having the same person hanging out with us.
Yeah, we're getting circles on that.
Circles on. All right.
Are you a little girl?
We still aren't getting a response. I'm going to ask whoever's here. Just, can you pause for a second? Can you take a break, please? Okay. We finally stopped. So we'll ask, is the spirit that's hanging out with Robert that we call Robert, are you a little girl?
Done.
Hmm?
That's on yes.
Are you gonna do a dead stuff?
Yeah.
I'm getting some spirals here.
We're on yes, and we're gonna, it's not moving on to yes.
We just can stop. Okay. Does anyone have a pressing thought or something that's maybe entering their mind that they really feel like they should ask? Our board is just chaos.
Let's ask the age. Let's see if we get a number for the age of Robert's spirit.
Sure. Can we get if the spirit that's associated with Robert? Can we get your age, please? Use the board to cover that we actually. We just got a 3.
What do we get? We got a 9, 1,
And then a 0. 3, 0.
I don't know if I want, but I don't know what the other one is. 9.
Yeah, we got 9, 1.
3, 0, 0.
That's an old spirit. What the hell? 91. 91. Again.
Okay, now we're just getting a lot of numbers. So a 3, 0, 0, and then a 1, a 0. Okay, now we're just doing a lot of gibberish.
No, this is mother.
Okay, I'm gonna ask.
116.
Stop. Thank you. Just recenter up here. Let's move up here. We asked how many spirits hang around Robert's area. 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, it's talking about here. 0, 1.
We're getting 0, 1 over here too.
You are?
Uh-huh.
0, 1, 0,
He's getting one.
Unless it's 10, 10, 10.
Yeah, 0, 1.
How's my board 3 doing?
Ours is not really
It's
clear.
going from 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
So one number.
1, 0, so it's 10, or is it 10 or is it 1?
Okay. I'm gonna leave you guys on the board for a second. Check the comments on this. You guys keep going. In case there's any, guys, if you have any questions out there that you want us to ask the board, let me know. But, let's see.
Are there any other spirits with Robert who would like to identify themselves?
I will say one of the questions that we can talk about is that someone asked if we asked permission to record video in advance. I'm going to go ahead and say no. And David and I are of a similar mindset that ceding power to something that you don't entirely understand is not typically a good thing. It's not something we want to do, so we did not ask that question. Okay, checking in. What are we getting from my folks? Board 1, anything happening on this, everybody?
1, 0, 1, 0.
1, 0, 1, 0, so it's still talking in binary. David, board 2, anything going on over there?
Yeah, we had the 1, 0 as well, and now we're getting a DC.
BBC.
DC.
Okay. And let's see here, board 3, anything happening?
You asked it. Our quarterly shop across the middle.
Should know. Okay. I would like to actually ask, so I've received a couple of user questions or commenters online. I'm gonna kind of jump back on the board. Right, whoever is on the board, you just put stop for a second. Stop moving. Okay. I'm gonna ask, I don't know if David is the expert on this, spent the most amount of time in this area with Robert, but I was always wondering, we hear that Robert was blamed for a lot of activity. So my question is, did Gene blame Robert for things that Robert didn't do? Okay, we're getting some movement here.
We've got a yes.
Really? You got a strong yes on that one. Okay, we're getting, it looks like it's coming over the N-O and then the Z. No, it's not. Board 3, any response to that?
Yeah.
Janet just mentioned, she said that's weird, that just for running. It was right before you said those.
Oh. Okay, here's a weird question, okay? All right, pause on this, whoever's, okay? It's not really pausing. Please hold for a second. One of the questioning is, this is creepy. When is the awakening? We have a response to that. I'm covering over numbers a lot. So, okay, slowly hover over the number you want us to pay attention to. 1, 0,
And
1, 0, 1, 0. Okay, more binary.
now,
Now, you spelled out now. Okay. Board 3. Board 2 has a response of now. We're getting nothing on board 1. Board 3.
Nothing.
Okay.
Let B.
Okay, pause for us on this. Are you okay, or do you need a break? Okay. Pause for this. Okay, thank you. Do you have plans? N-O-Z. Okay. No real response on our board, not on board one. Does anyone have any other questions that's coming to mind that you would like to ask, that you want to throw out there? Anyone in the room? And also anyone that's watching, if you have a question that you would like us to ask the board, please put it in the comments, and I'll check that in a moment. What?
Robert, are you also a benevolent force?
Okay.
Are you also a benevolent force?
Robert, are you a benevolent force?
We got a good yes on that.
Good yes.
No, we're gonna no. So we're gonna yes and then no. And
All
there's a no
right,
back and forth.
This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say maybe you guys should come over and take this board over. Rotate out, because you're getting some strong responses on this. Do you want to try this one over here?
Sure.
Okay. Just slide goodbye. On our end. Okay, I'm taking my hand off. All right, so board 2 has been getting some pretty strong responses. We've been getting a lot of gibberish, and I want to first of all thank you guys again. Remind me your name. What's that? Rhonda. Rhonda and Nigel on board 1. Thank you guys. And now we're going to get these guys back over here. I'm going to check the comments. And there's questions about electronics. There's questions about his Key West home. All right, if anybody wants to rotate over here on board 2, on this. Who else wants to get on board 2 over here? Okay, guys, meanwhile, if you happen to notice anything strange that we are not seeing in the footage, please let us know. Yes, we are dealing with a slight lag on this, but that's what happens when you're trying to film 3 feeds in a Civil War fort. Okay. Got a couple interesting questions. So we have people on all boards. Okay, fingers on boards. If you're rotating out, you can rotate out. Okay, cool. Everything on there. All right, so I'm going to let you know some of the questions that are coming through. We have Jackie asks, Robert, do you travel from your material body? So David, why don't you ask that question and everybody focus on that question through your boards.
Robert, do you travel from your material body? Do you leave your physical body?
Board 2 and board 3, if you do have a response, let us know.
We're gravitating towards a yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a yes.
Got a yes. So we have a yes to that response. Board 2 and 3, did you come through with the response or anything? Nothing clear? You got a 9? Okay, maybe that's German. Okay.
He's German.
He's German. Okay. This is, okay, another question. Oh, also from Jackie, this is interesting, about what other name do you go by? So, David, you want to ask this question again?
Robert, what other name do you go by? A V.
A V.
You gotta be something.
But then it's stopped.
So we have 2 Bs that have come through on the question about other names you might go by. Board 1 is moving around a little bit. We're getting some action on that. Board 2, how you doing over there? You guys pretty quiet?
Keeping it G.
Okay. Just remember, real light touch. Don't weigh it down too much. Another B.
We got an O, V-O.
VO. Okay. VO.
Y. V-O-Y.
VOY. These, and we're looking for other names that you might go by or have gone by. And I'm going to check back with you guys in the comments with another question momentarily.
R. V-O-Y-R.
VOY.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Y.
VOY. VOYRY.
Circling is why.
I'd like to ask a question. Robert, are you the one who's causing Ozzy Osbourne all the problems now? He's been talking a lot about how he's been cursed ever since he disrespected you.
Timely question from David on board 1, David Sloan, author, asking about the whole Ozzy Osbourne, Robert the Doll potential mishap here. Okay. Here, hold on up a second. We have a clear yes. Robert the Doll, you heard it here first.
Ozzy, it's time to come apologize.
Yeah. We are getting clear answers to that. Robert the Doll has
Yes,
been
as well.
Okay, we have
Everybody yes to-
2 boards. Board 2 getting yes on Robert is the one that's been causing Ozzy all sorts of mischief, I guess. And then what is circling yes.
Very strong.
Hope the feed is really getting this right now. It's hard to see. It's a little bit of a lag, but it does seem to be clear. This is great, guys. Okay, well, let's get another question from the comments here. I know, yeah. All right, another question from the comments. Okay, got a lot of questions coming in. Appreciate you guys being out there. Okay. Dale Hopkins wants to know, and I can display this. Dale Hopkins wants to know, has anyone come to visit you and made you feel happy like a familiar spirit? So let's narrow that down so it's a shorter question, but let's just ask Robert if he has other spirits come to visit him. And if you want to repeat that, focus on that board.
Robert, do you have other spirits who come to visit you? We're getting a strong yes on this too.
Strong yes. Now ask it. Sometimes it just seems to hover and gets caught in the feedback loop. So ask the board to ask it to move away from that yes and then come back if that's clear yes. Okay. See, I should say for everybody out there, there's some people that are just really strong at working the board, and it's practice, practice, practice. But also there's theory that potential spirits need to have practice to understand how to communicate with the board as well. So you're getting a yes? Okay. So we're getting yeses come through about potential other spirits hanging out with Robert. But let's follow through and ask if Robert is happy, because that was the other part of Dale's question.
Robert, are you happy?
Board 2?
Or just stop, just try everything.
Okay, board 2 is at a standstill.
We're in now.
Gonna no. That's unfortunate. So we're getting a no on are you happy?
I just flew over to yes.
Okay. So what do you think about that, David? David, you spend most of the amount of time around Robert and you've been researching. What do you think about some of these responses coming through?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I do believe there's multiple entities that work with Robert, so you can get conflicting reports. I had word from Beth Rooney. She's one of my friends who's pretty in tune with Robert. She said that she's been picking up on him lately and that his mood is improving. He says that he feels like someone like Eugene is around him or someone else again. So I think things are on a positive track, but of course I'm biased.
Okay. Well, okay. Here's, let's get some of these other questions through. And I want to make certain anybody in the room, if you have a question that you want to ask as well, please let us know. Some of the commenters out here. Let's see. You guys have some really good questions. Chris asks, Robert, are you having fun tonight? Well, this is a good question. I know I'm having fun, guys. I'm having a good time. So let's ask the question. David, why don't you ask board 1?
Robert, are you having fun tonight?
This is pretty crazy, guys. I mean, not only is this the first time a Ouija board has been used on Robert the dog on Halloween night, on Halloween night, on Blue.
It looks like he's playing, but it just can be yes. He teased the no quite a bit, and then shot over to a hard yes. So I think that's the playful.
Okay, so maybe we're getting a little bit of playfulness coming through.
Yeah, it looks like it.
All right, great question, Chris.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting did board 3. What about you? Did you get a response? Okay, so we got 2 boards saying yes to he's having fun. And how you feeling on that, David? Or taking a break? So it takes a lot, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and how's everybody doing on the other board? You guys feeling okay? Everybody's good? Everybody's good. All right. We ready for another question from the comments?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see here. This is kind of an interesting one. The question is, well, it's 2-parter. The first part is, do you miss your owner, Robert? And the other is, do you consider yourself owned? Very existential right there. So let's ask the first question. Robert, do you miss your owner?
Yeah, Robert, do you miss Eugene?
Now we see on board 1, which is in the front, but
And we're getting a no. And that would make sense because Gene's spirit is picked up here at the fort as well. So it's my belief that they're still together.
okay.
Robert, is Eugene here with you? Is that what you know? We got a strong yes on that.
Okay, that he is with us.
Yeah.
So we're getting responses about Eugene Otto, who said to haunt the Fort Martello Museum, and well, the Ouija board seems to be giving us a yes on that. There is a related question because there's some artist house questions. Jackie wants to know, have you left the artist house today? So we're in the Fort East Martello Museum, Jackie, but it's a good question. Does he ever pop over to the artist house?
Robert, your spirit used to be picked up in the artist house. Since you don't play at the fort, Do you visit the artist house anymore? We're getting yes.
Getting a yes to that. Good question, Jackie. Hopefully that is
Interesting.
very interesting.
Yeah.
And board 2 or 3, any responses to that one?
Our spelled now. Like went to N. But
Okay.
now it's going to
Ours is going to no now.
So it seems almost like we've got multiple kind of playful ideas coming.
Yeah, and that could be the different entities.
Let's see here. And well, here's a question. Robert, do you like to tease people sometimes? David, you want to ask that question?
Robert, do you like to tease people sometimes? That was a very clear yes.
Very clear yes on board 1 to that response.
Yes. 3 got a yes.
Okay, so board 3 also got a yes about do you like to tease people sometimes. Board 2, anything coming through?
Yeah.
You got a yes? So we got 3 strong yeses on that response. That's kind of cool. I think that's the first time we've had consistent yeses or no's across the board. Across the boards. Here's another one. Are you able to read minds? Ooh. What do you think? Dave, why don't you ask that question?
Robert, are you able to read minds? Can you see our thoughts? Can you tell our thoughts? Yes.
Okay, we're getting a very kind of clear circling. I hope it's coming through on that one board. But yeah, got a yes on board 1 with that. Board 2, anything coming through?
It's storage yes now.
Board yes. Okay. And oh, that's this one. This is interesting. Anne wants to know if Robert would rather be back in the attic of his house.
No.
No.
I'm pretty
What?
precise. No.
Board 1 says no. Board 2,
Yes. You got it.
you got a yes. Okay.
Mm.
And then board 3. Okay, so we got at least on board 1. We got a they don't want to be back in the attic. It's good. Jackie's coming up with all the good question, guys, because there's even the question, are you answering questions honestly? I think that's worth asking.
We're gonna know.
No on board 1. Good. Jackie. All right, now we do have other people in the room. Does anybody else want to dive on the board? Give it a try.
Ron, do you want to try?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Is everybody feeling okay and comfortable during all this? No? I appreciate it. Do you want to go on any of the boards? Or no? Okay. Anyone else?
I do have a question.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's hear it.
In the room here with us is an old, strong funeral horse. And I'd like to know, are there any spirits that are associated to the funeral hearse that are here with us tonight?
Okay, so, yeah, David, repeat that one?
Are there any spirits attached to the Lopez funeral hearse?
Sometimes it takes a while for that response to come through, guys, so. Game of patience.
We got a yes.
A yes, okay. Board 2 or 3, any responses?
We're stuck on this.
Stop on yes. Okay, so ask it, Board 2, just, ask it to move away from the yes a little bit. You can ask everybody to do this. Kind of do a reset. Say, back off, move away, and just pause on the movement for a second. So whoever is around with us, if you're moving the planchette, if you're on the boards, just take a break for a second. Just pause.
Thank you.
Okay. I won't keep you guys too much longer out there, and I hope you guys are having fun during this. This is, the first ever happening in a fort. So again, I don't know what the signal looks like. But how's everybody feeling on the boards? Need a break? You're in it. Okay, my board 1, these guys are being champs. How you doing, board 2? You still on it? Board 3? Okay, we're in it. All right.
Let's ask a couple more questions about the one with the hearse. We got the pretty strong.
Okay.
This is a yes too.
What you guys can't see here is in the frame is a hearse. And this is, what's the story behind the hearse, David Sloan?
It's a horse-drawn hearse. It's probably from the 1890s. And if you look, it's just incredible craftsmanship. It has large oval windows in the back where you would have been able to view the casket. And it's from Lopez Funeral Home, which is one of the oldest funeral homes in Key West. And people, they come to see Robert, and so many people who are sensitive immediately turn around and say, whoa, what's the energy with that? What's the story with that? And they really pick up on that energy. And we have some theories as to who's haunting it. I'd love to see what comes through the board to see if that matches what we've been told.
Okay, guys, and for everybody watching at home, we got 2 very haunted, supposedly haunted items in this room. And so David Sloan's going to ask about who might be haunting this hearse.
So talking to the spirit who is attached to the hearse, can you tell me your first name? B.
B from board 1, board 2, what are you getting? What do you got, board 2?
3 6s.
We're getting S, so it's like B, S, B, S, S, S,
Oh,
S, S, S.
ours is going S6, S6.
S6, S6,
Yeah,
S6,
666.
or Essex?
Yeah.
Board 3?
Doing circles.
Doing circles. Yeah, that happens. That happens a lot with me. And thank you. We're getting some nice comments. Only way they could be having more fun is if they were here. I appreciate that. Let's see here. You want to ask another question about the hearse, David?
Yeah. Do you know Benjamin Lopez? All right, that's a yes.
Okay, so we have a yes to Benjamin Lopez. Okay, board 3 has a yes.
Oh my God, what?
Okay, board 2, what are you getting?
STOW.
Why?
Yeah.
He's asking, wondering why we're asking if you know. Did you work for the Lopez Funeral Home? We're going to goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, so maybe someone's opt out of that one. And then board 2 guy, so STOW, was it? Stow?
Yeah.
Does that name or word mean
It's
anything?
almost like it's spelling stop.
Well, no.
Yeah.
So we're getting a stop and a goodbye. We're still getting goodbye.
Okay, board 3? Okay, so if there's whoever's coming through on the boards, take a break, and then you can send through someone else if you would like. Stop. Okay. So we've gotten some activity coming through. How's everybody feeling? I mean, it's up to you guys whether you want to keep going or if you're feeling tapped out.
Yeah.
Feeling tapped out?
Me
Little
too.
tap?
I'm
Okay,
just gonna
43, okay. All right, guys, I think we're probably gonna come to an end of this little experiment. How do we feel about that?
Yeah.
Okay, before we let you go, so we're coming to the end of this. Before we let you go, David Sloan, pop up here and tell folks at home how to reach out to you and your call to action, sir.
Yeah, we're doing some fun stuff out at Fort East Martello now. You can go to ghostfort.com and see all the exciting things we're doing. And then on Instagram and Facebook, we are at QS Ghost Fort.
Cool. And I'm Aaron Sagers, and I thank you guys for being here. And you can follow me across social at Aaron Sagers. New episodes of Paranormal Caught on Camera most nights, or most Sundays at 9 p.m. And I'll also say I launched a podcast recently called Nightmarica. You guys should listen to that. And also, I want to thank all of these awesome folks that have been here and been taking part in this first ever Ouija board experiment. Going to be like being here, giving us their time, attention, energy on this. And for everybody at home and for everybody in this room, what I will say is if we've been communicating with spirits, ghosts, whatever we want to call them, we want to say thank you for your time. And again, we mean you nothing but respect, but we also don't want you to come home with us. So I would say for everybody at home, after taking part in this, just kind of say your own mantra, kind of closing out this session, putting your shields up and saying, stay there. And for everybody at home, I would say this, or in here, I would say the same thing. It's just create your shields, create like a bit of a goodbye and hang up that telephone as it were, okay? So I'm going to stop this. Thank you guys so much for joining the Robert the Doll meets Ouija experiment. This is great. We should do it again.
Yeah, without doubt.
Yeah, so thank you guys. Have a good night. Happy Halloween.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.